chorus, and we sang around, and we were excluded from duty first from washing the you know, you normally have to go and washing pots and pans and stuff. But we did not. Well, one time, and we also had a security service band orchestra, and when they one time one sergeant told this fella in the band, or he says, "You got KP duty next day." He says, "No," he says, "I don't have it because I'm with the security service orchestra," and he said, "Oh." Well, that stopped everything, and we all got we all got orders to go someplace, and we were. I was going to go to Japan and other places, and our choir director was with second Fred Waring's second group, and he also worked in the personnel part, and he said, "Well, the general who is on the base, wants us to sing at his retirement party. But what do you guys want to do? Sing, or you want to go on your way?" "Well, sure, we'll sing." So they actually recut our orders so we could stay and sing. But then after that, people started going different places, and I ended up over in Newfoundland for a while, and then I luckily got assigned back to Blair Air Force Base.
Okay.
Because that's when my wife and I, we had one date 5 years before in York, Nebraska, and I met her again at a dance out here.
Oh my gosh, 5 years in between.
Yeah.
And she still thought you were worth it.
Yeah. Boy, that's what I thought.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I think it was Eloise Timmerman that made your quilt.
Yes,
okay. Right. So she wrote a letter for me to read to you.
Right.
So I'm going to read it.
Okay, go right ahead.
It says, "Dear American Hero," that's you. "On behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation and in recognition of your service to this nation, it's a privilege to honor you with this Quilt of Valor. Please accept this Quilt of Valor in grateful thanksgiving for your service and your sacrifice in the defense of our country. The mission of the Quilts of Valor Foundation is to cover our service members and veterans with a comforting and healing quilt. This quilt represents thousands of youth and adults making quilts of valor for their care for servicemen, women, and veterans. Often when quilts of valor are constructed, they are sewn and quilted with prayers for active duty servicemen, women, and veterans. Quilts of Valor began in 2003 when Catherine Roberts of Delaware had a son deployed in Iraq, and she felt 10 seconds from panic. She was a military mom, a nurse, and a quilter. Catherine had a dream of gloom, where in her dream, a young soldier was having a hard time sleeping due to worry and fear. He was deployed somewhere in the world and sitting on his bed in the middle of the night. Then, as if viewing a movie, the next scene in her dream was very transformative. The soldier was wrapped in a quilt, and the whole atmosphere changed from one of despair to one of hope and well-being. Catherine believed quilts were healing, and she began making quilts for wounded warriors returning home. She worked mostly in Walter Reed, which is that way if that's east.
Yes.
Just in case I don't know which direction east is.
Working
with a hospital chaplain, the first quilt was awarded to a soldier at Walter Reed. As of today, 283,000 quilts of valor have been awarded to U.S. active military and veterans. A Quilt of Valor is a one and only lifetime award awarded to U.S. military and veterans in all branches of service. Citizens of Australia, Canada, England, and Korea have joined in this effort to thank their servicemen and women. Beginning in 2003, at a time of heavy deployment, most Nebraska Quilts of Valor were awarded to military personnel overseas. The nicest thank you notes were received from ICU nurses in Afghanistan, saying the quilt was proudly worn during a Purple Heart ceremony. Other thank you notes came from staff at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, where many injured were transferred to Landstuhl Military Hospital before coming home. One plane load of 200 injured returning to the United States, each was covered with a Quilt of Valor. In 2015, with less deployment overseas, the National Quilts of Valor Foundation changed the focus to awarding Quilts of Valor to veterans at home. Please use this quilt on your bed, snuggle up with it on your couch, or wrap your loved ones in it. We would like you to use it to keep you warm and feel comforted by it. If you had not heard it before, welcome home. So
that was nice.
that stays with you. a little bit about Quilts of Valor in Colorado.
Okay.
I started with Catherine in 2003, and we started with our veterans at Fort Carson.
Sure.
My uncle was a Vietnam vet, and we immediately recognized the need for our veterans who had already served to receive quilts. So even though they started in 2015, here in Colorado, we started in 2003, awarding them to our veterans who had already served.
Huh.
So that's just a little extra love for me coming to you, even though I didn't participate in making this quilt. It sat at my house for 5 days, so I petted it and loved on it and prayed for you while I've been holding it. So
Well, I'm a Legion Club member back in Fairmont for 53 years, and I never joined the Legion out here. Like I've never transferred it, so I would have. But it's just a long time thing. Look at this.
this is the quilt that she made for you.
Wait, I'm sorry, my phone stopped.
Uh-oh.
I think it's
Wow.
dying.
Well, hold on. We'll let the next person start.
Just a minute.
So I think I have it. Did you see the star in it? So it's supposed to go this way, but I'm too short to hold it up that way.
You're
wanna
too
hold it?
short.
I know, that's right. So that's the quilt that Eloise made for you.
Oh,
That's
wow.
beautiful.
That is
Look at
absolutely
that.
beautiful.
Oh my
That's
gosh, it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
So a lot of people, even though she's the last of the person who put the quilt together, a lot of other people are involved in it because so many people go out and they find the materials specifically that we need. When we're sewing together in sew groups, different people will cut the blocks. Different people will add the seams. And each time one of those is added, it's another person saying thank you for your service. And it's another person that's adding a little bit of gratitude for you. So this is your quilt. There is a label on the quilt. It shows that Eloise made it and your name is on there that proves it's yours. So if any of you all want to borrow it, your names aren't on there, only Daryl's is. If they want to snuggle up next to you, I suggest you use bribery and say I get a steak dinner or I get the first piece of pumpkin pie next year. I mean, you got to use it to your advantage, okay? Would it be okay if Kelly wraps it around you?
Very good.
Could Kelly wrap it around you?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Just
You're going to have to put it the other way because that's really long.
Okay.
hold it this way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Like a chief.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So on behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation, in recognition for your service to our nation, it is an honor to award comfort to you through our healing quilts. We hope you will use it, love it, snuggle in it, and we thank you and say welcome home.
Oh, I most certainly will.
Oh,
Thank you.
yay.
Thank you.
Yay, Dad. Nice.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Awesome.
It's awesome, Dad.
Wow, that is really cool.